So this video here takes a little different slant. It's not my typical educational type videos that it seems I've been doing. But I want to talk just a little bit about what to expect for a figure competition, especially obviously if it's your first time that you're going to be competing or thinking about competing. This is not, talking about suits and the show itself and all that. This is a little bit deeper. This is some information that I really wished I would have had when I first started competing. Make your goal to get in the best physical conditioning that you can possibly get into. The consequence for that is going to be a great looking physique. Okay, not something that's ready to get on a figure stage, but something relatively close to that. So if you're working towards getting lean, fit, and strong and gaining lean mass and doing it in such a way that's natural and that you are taking in excellent food in somewhat normal ratios, and you have a strong exercise program, what's going to come out of that naturally is a great physique. Then, as you have that great physique, you're not that far off from a 10 to 12 week plan that's going to put you on that stage. And that's really where, during that 12-week lean down to stage, that's where a lot of things are going to come to light, which I'll get into. Another thing I would highly recommend is that you look at your journey towards getting on the figure stage as an incredible opportunity to learn, not only about yourself, but about nutrition and exercise. This is for a couple reasons. One, you're going to learn things that you can take with you as far as living a healthy lifestyle beyond the stage. But two, as a good foundation to you understanding what's happening in your body when you're doing certain things to lean down for stage. For example, if you implement a particular type of cardio, you know what's happening in your body to burn the fat or to preserve the muscle. If you're at a stage in your diet where you have to relatively low carb for a period of time, you want to know metabolically what's going on in your body so that you understand when you are hungry or when you have a craving to go and binge on plain bread, why that's happening in your body. So understanding a bit of the whys doesn't take away the challenge per se, but it does make it more bearable because you have a good foundation of what's going on. Because remember, your body will defend very strongly its natural set point for body fat. So your body has a natural place where it wants to hang out at, a natural body fat percentage. And you want to get way lower than that to get on stage. There's going to be challenges. You're going to be fighting your body to a certain extent, but you don't want it to be this confrontation. You want to use your brain and intelligently get there so that it's the most pleasurable experience you can have in reaching that goal that you want to reach. One of the pitfalls that many women get into when they're doing their first figure competition is that their perception of normal in relation to what they look like can be warped after a show. You spend 12 weeks of your life, sometimes some women more, getting to a point that you are so conditioned and physically lean and relatively tiny, right? That you sit with that body for many weeks, and so it becomes familiar to you. So that when post-show you gain some weight back, which will put you more into your normal category, your mind says, wait a minute, I'm fat. Okay, because it's comparing to what you were, say, the whole 6 weeks before a show. And so that can play tricks on your mind because you're thinking, oh my gosh, if you hit double digits in body fat, you're like, oh, I'm so fat, Or People around you may notice a difference. Preparing yourself mentally to be with that thought of, okay, I'm back to normal now, and accepting that and knowing that it's normal and it's okay is one of the toughest challenges for many women post-show. And probably the biggest thing that I've noticed, experienced myself, and watched other girls experience as well, is that when you are going through life normally, not preparing for a figure competition, you can fluctuate 5 pounds, even 10 pounds, right? And those extra pounds here or there can kind of act as a shield for some food issues. And I don't mean issues like it's a bad thing, because I guarantee you, every single female on some level has a food issue. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but your relationship with food. That 12 weeks prior to getting on stage, where you are in your lean down to stage and you're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, body fat wise, it will act as a magnifying glass to whatever food issues you have. And for some, that's barely any. But for most, many different issues come up. Your relationship with food will be put under a microscope. Whereas if you're not heading towards a figure stage, you can kind of disguise your food issues a little bit by the scale fluctuating 5 pounds, 10 pounds. Meaning that if you're having an emotional period in your life and you know that you're an emotional eater and you're going through a rough stage, the scale can go up, your pants are a little bit tighter, no big deal, right? And then you get a handle on that, or it passes, and then you start to go back down to normal. So you're swinging kind of within this 5 pound range, 10 pound range. However, when you are leaning down for stage, you absolutely don't have that shield, right? Because you are on a path towards getting leaner week by week by week by week. So if you're doing this week by week by week, and here you come up with an emotional issue where normally you'd go and do a little emotional eating to kind of salve your wounds, you can't do that. Because if you do, the scale's going to go up, your results are going to be thrown off, and either you're beating yourself up or your trainer's beating you up, right, for not being on track. You're taking away that little shield of weight gain, you know, the little pendulum there. You're taking that away because you can't hide behind it anymore. So what happens? Well, all of these things are out in the open for you to deal with. You're looking at these things saying, okay, I know I can't do this. I know I can't binge on this, you know, whatever it is, a bag of cookies or whatever, because I got to get on stage in 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So you're forced to either give in to that temptation or to deal with it and to get through it and actually heal a part of you that you normally wouldn't necessarily come up against. Picking a figure competition as a goal and working towards that, just know ahead of time that you may very well be like most and have to deal with issues as they pop up. It's kind of like, you know, you're tilling the garden and you're making it all nice and flat, and then boom, a rock pops up out of the garden. Well, you run over there and you remove the rock, right? Makes it, you know, it sounds real easy, but it's not. We all know it's not that easy. And there's lots of girls that have great experiences and end up doing shows again and again and again. So it can be done, and it's a great time. It is a lot of fun. So don't let my warning scare you. It's just some things that I wish that I would have been aware of, because my first year of competing, I stumbled through a lot of that. I still have my challenges, but I also still get up there and compete. So, and it's a fun time. I love it. So, hope that helps a little bit.